Get more food. That's all there is to it. Go out there, get more food, store more food, be wise about it. Let me explain why. You can have all the cool guy gear, gadgets, and so forth and so on, but it doesn't do you any good if you can't eat. The plans that a lot of people have to go out in the woods, or I'm going to forage for the food, sound really nice and great, but it's not really practical. There's a whole host of reasons for that. Yes, there is probably that Uber man out there, or lady, or whoever, that can go out in the woods and live in the woods and gain weight out in the woods. But if you look at any of the reality TV shows where these experts, and some of these guys that like leave within a few days, are really true hardcore experts and really know their field. They get a bad rep, but they really know their stuff. It's hard out there. It's harder than we're used to. We don't have the skill sets to do it. The people out there that had those skill sets were people that were lived back 100 years ago, or were about or thereabouts. After that, we've lost more and more of those skills at an exponential rate. We don't have the skills to get the food out of the woods and do the hunting long term. Not to mention the population density is so much higher. Get more food now. You think you're going to be preparing for, say, your family, 4 or 5 people, but you're going to have your daughter, your son's little league team, or the best friend from Sunday school, or whatever it may be, show up at your house because you guys talked about it sometime. And operational, security, all that stuff, to be quiet, we all talk. We all do. And so just be prepared. You're going to have to feed more people than you think. And it will go faster than you think. 1 million calories per person per year is a low estimate for the average individual. And you go, well, what's 1 million calories? That is a bunch of food, a whole bunch of food. Granted, your 4-year-old daughter is not going to eat as much as you as a grown man that's working hard out trying to grow more food or get more food in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or having to stay up late to run security for whatever reason. You need more food to feed more people in order to be able to help others and to not starve yourself out, your family. There's numerous stories out there of people dying in horrific ways en masse because of starvation brought on by policies of the government that they were under at the time, to just a drought or plague of locusts went through. There's all those are true stories. One of the more common ones that you might be able to relate to a little bit more is actually Ukraine, and not Ukraine today. Ukraine 1932, 1933. They had millions of people die, and even back then they were the breadbasket of Europe, if not the world, and they died en masse because there's a lack of food. And it can happen faster than you think, and quicker than you think. It's horrible situations that occur there. You can look it up. There's a lot of information online. It's real simple, but honestly, if we talk about this, I might actually get a strike with YouTube just because of how bad it was and what was going on in that place. Do your own research on it. An interesting book, eyewitness account, was Execution by Hunger, and I might get her name wrong, but it's Marion Dulot, or it's D-O-L-O-T. And actually, that's a guy. I'm sorry. Another book was a female. This is a guy. Horrible situation. Eyewitness account of what occurred, written down. It went beyond what most people can even imagine, and honestly, do not. You want to be careful reading it, because there's a lot of things in here that are just extremely disturbing. Just to think that they could happen at all. Anyway, so that's not going any more down that road, but just get more food. Be wise about it. Go out there and get the food you eat. Don't go out and go crazy. Don't go buy the 20-year stuff to start. At some point, yes, it would be good to have it, but you would be better served to have a year or two's worth of your normal usage in your house and rotate through that as you go. If you eat rice, buy a large thing of rice and just rotate through it. And when you get halfway done, buy another one, and just keep rotating through it that way. It's not rocket science, and a lot of the long-term food storage is low on calorie count or missing the protein, or the serving size is about half of what a real serving size would be in stuff you buy at the store today. So between all that, the time that they promise is really a lot less than what people think it is. And so be careful with those types of things out there. Not to say not to buy them, they're worth having. It's great to have immediately after a disaster when you need to get things done quickly and get back to working to clean up or to care for an ill one when you don't have time to cook. You don't have to go out and buy the food, the Mountain House, the My Patriot Supply, all these other guys. I'm not necessarily knocking any one of those guys, the company specifically, but do your research and figure out which one works for you and which one doesn't with your normal diet. If you can't find one, get the dehydrated food in number 10 cans, which are the big soup cans. They are, like 6-8 inches across, and get those, break those up into canning jars. There's ways to preserve it long term like that. You can actually take the air back out and get a number of years out of them as well from doing that. And then you have instant meals that you could use in your day to day. Just add hot water, boiling water, and go, or pour it out and cook it up. And it's easy to do. It's not that complicated. It will save you time today, and it will save you time after a disaster when you even need more availability of time and resources and not have to think. As a side note, if you do make those from scratch, from home, put the instructions on it or with it, tape it, whatever you need to do, write it on the lid on how to prepare it, because you, one, under stress may not remember, and two, you don't want to spend the time looking around for what you need to do. Boiling water, 10 minutes, eat, whatever it may need to be for what recipe you have. And I hope this has been helpful for you, and I encourage you highly to get more food, rotate it well, get what you eat, and use a first in, first out system to rotate it around, and prepare now. Your future self will thank you.